Trump to ban transgender people from all military service. President Trump on Wednesday said he would ban transgender people from any military service. Trump made the announcement, which would represent a major shift in military policy. On Twitter, he said he had made the decision after consulting with my generals and military experts. After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Trump tweeted, "Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you." During the 2016 presidential race, Trump called himself a real friend of the LGBT community in the wake of the Orlando nightclub shooting and accused Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton of prioritizing immigration policies that bring Islamic extremists into the U.S. Thank you, to the LGBT community. I will fight for you while Hillary brings in more people that will threaten your freedoms and beliefs, he tweeted in June. He also criticized North Carolina's controversial bathroom law, saying in an April 2016 interview that the state was paying a big price for the policy and that transgender individuals should use whatever bathroom they want. Trump's decision is a gesture to the conservative base at a time when he's facing declining poll numbers and increasing pressure over the Russia investigation. White House officials did not immediately respond to a request to explain the president's decision-making process. Last year, the Obama administration lifted the ban on allowing transgender troops to serve openly, under the policy set by then Defense Secretary Ash Carter. Transgender troops also receive coverage for any treatment deemed medically necessary by their doctors, including surgery and hormone therapy. That step left a decision for Defense Secretary James Mattis to make on whether to allow new transgender troops to enter the military. Trump made the surprise announcement while Mattis is on vacation, stoking speculation about the Pentagon's level of involvement in Trump's decision. It wasn't immediately clear what Trump's announcement would mean for the approximately 250 transgender people now serving openly in the U.S. military. A Pentagon spokesman referred all questions about Trump's statements to the White House. "We will continue to work closely with the White House to address the new guidance provided by the Commander-in-Chief on transgender individuals serving the military," Navy Captain Jeff Davis said. "We will provide revised guidance to the department in the near future." Trump's decision is a huge blow to the LGBT community, which was just coming off a win after the surprising defeat during an amendment to the annual defense policy bill that would have banned Pentagon funding from being used for transition-related medical care. But under the policy Carter crafted, transgender recruits weren't allowed to enlist pending the end of a one-year implementation period that was supposed to end July 1st. But the night before the change was to go into effect, Mattis issued a 6-month delay in the policy to study the issue more. In a memo explaining the delay, Mattis insisted that his decision does not change policies and procedures currently in effect. Mattis also promised during his confirmation hearing that he wouldn't reverse his predecessor's decisions unless a service chief brings him hard evidence the policy is having a negative effect. LGBT advocates were worried immediately after the election that Trump would roll back the transgender policy, which he has the power to do unilaterally since it is not a law. They breathed a sigh of relief after Mattis's confirmation hearing but have since been fighting on issues such as the enlistment policy and medical care. Earlier this month, the House voted 209-214 against banning Pentagon funding from being used for transition-related care. 24 Republicans joined with Democrats to defeat the amendment to the annual defense policy bill. Mattis opposed the amendment, confirming he called its sponsor, Rep. Vicky Hartzler, RMO, at least once on the issue. But some Republicans hope to have a second chance, filing several similar amendments to the spending bill coming to the House floor Wednesday. The Rules Committee on Tuesday night decided on some of the amendments that will get a vote on the House floor. None of the transgender-related amendments made it in, but there will be a second chance on Wednesday. Rep. Ileana Ros-Latinen, RFLA, whose son is transgender, immediately slammed the decision. "No American, no matter their sexual orientation or gender identity, should be prohibited from honor plus privilege of serving our nation LGBT," she tweeted. Rep. Vicky Jo Hartzler, RMO, meanwhile, said she was pleased to hear that @Real Donald Trump shares my readiness and cost concerns, and will be changing this costly and damaging policy readiness, she tweeted. Rep. Adam Smith, D. Wash, ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee, called out Trump for apparent inconsistencies with past statements and expressed confidence a ban on transgender troop would go the way of the old ban against gays and lesbians in the military. On January 31st, President Trump said that he is determined to protect the rights of all Americans, including the LGBTQ community. President Trump continues to be respectful and supportive of LGBTQ rights, just as he was throughout the election. What has changed since then? Smith said in a statement. The inflated cost estimates that President Trump appears to be alluding to have no basis in fact, and appear to be cooked up by right-wing advocacy organizations whose real interest is not to support military readiness but to further discrimination. It takes a brave and committed person to volunteer to defend this country, and every American that is able and willing to do so should be allowed to join the U.S. military, Smith added later in the 4-paragraph statement. We will fight this decision, just like we fought Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and ultimately justice will prevail. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, DNY, a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, promised to introduce legislation to reverse Trump's decision. This morning transgender service members put on their uniform and showed up for their military duties to be told by their commander-in-chief via Twitter that he doesn't want them in any capacity, she said in a statement. This new directive is harmful, misguided, and weakens, not strengthens, our military. I will introduce legislation and will fight to overturn this discriminatory decision.